and I know exactly what I'm gonna do with it first.
1 second. Are you talking about in League, sir?
Yeah, I'm taking this dragon top lane.
Okay. That's very interesting. So, I'm actually gonna say one thing. It actually says that we're on the air, so it looks like surprise.
Wait, what was
surprise,
here's Johnny.
So anyway, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Start Button Live, where we talk about gaming. I'm your host, King Anarchy. Today we have with us Raijin. We got the infamous, Mr. Hustle Simmons, aka the Charlemagne of Gaming. We got, our celebrity superstar, Mr. Time Traveling, and of course, our special guest, who might not be a guest for too long, Mr. SG Token, aka KG Master Roshi. So anyway, I want to open the day up with just asking you all a little quick and innocent question. Now we all have these moments, or we all have these genres of games that we might play, and they would be considered our guilty pleasure, so to speak. So what I want to do is I want to kind of go with a little bit of a round robin. What exactly would be your guilty pleasure game, or your guilty pleasure game type? Like, if you play like VR erotica for some unknown reason or something, not gonna say any names. So anyway, let's start with you, Token.
Oh, I guess you sussed out what his guilty pleasure was, the VR erotica.
When his face looks, yeah, he loves.
He's just like,
he's
just like, how does he know?
That keeps those foreign games in business, bro. Because I swear there's like 500 of them every week.
That's such a weird thing. But
what, Steam porn games?
Look, I bought one. Okay, there you go.
Okay, how was it?
It's all right.
Just all right.
You're not gonna plug it? Like, what game you get? Like, you're ashamed of your purchase, sir.
What is it?
Here admitting to questionable. You're already out here admitting to questionable as shit.
Right? Why you don't just plead the fifth?
I mean, you already said you done bought a Steam porn game, bro.
That's not my guilty pleasure, though.
Oh, okay. So just the VR porn was.
If it wasn't a guilty pleasure, he'd say the game.
Fine, I'll tell you what my guilty pleasure is. I guess you could consider it one.
We want to know the name of the Steam porn game, and how it works.
I'm looking it up. She Will Punish Them is what it's called.
Oh, he's into the mommy dommy.
No.
Well, we're not going to talk about fetishes here. We're just going to talk about games. So I just kind of
So I would honestly say that my guilty pleasure game, really, honestly, is League. It's toxic as it is. I just can't stop, bro.
That feels like a cop-out answer, though.
That's not really a guilty pleasure, though.
Yeah, it is because I love RPGs, right? I love sandbox games. I love first-person shooter games. I love tactical games, especially like Persona and Ace, Disgaea, Final Fantasy Tactics. But honestly, I just cannot seem to stop playing League. Like, I will literally get pissed to the moon and back, to the point of an aneurysm. And even on a shit day, a complete dumpster fire day, I will still play League.
Well, so much for monetization on this episode. Loon said that his is For Honor. I think Apox is usually For Honor too, because for some reason, them two people cannot stay away from that game for that long. They love self-punishment.
I thought guilty pleasure was like a game that's not really a guilty pleasure would be something that's not really well perceived by people.
A guilty pleasure could be something that you play that you don't want to admit because you think people are going to judge you for it. Like, would you judge Loon for playing For Honor? Probably 100%.
Not really.
I mean, it's a long-standing game.
I would say
but,
don't
like,
do it, but
he's
I wouldn't judge
probably
him.
the
on it.
one keeping For Honor in business at this point.
Him, Star, APOC, and Creed. Them four are like the only ones keeping it in business.
What about you, Tom? You got like a guilty pleasure, like something that just kind of off the beaten path that you just genuinely enjoy playing?
It's probably Super Monkey Balls.
For me, no. I don't know. I don't really consider them I don't really have anything I would consider to be like a guilty pleasure. The closest thing might be some I like idle clickers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like idle.
I can see that.
Idle clickers are are kind of like an addiction for me. Like I just started playing the new AEW Rise to the Top or Fight to the Top, whatever it is, and
Can you tell everybody
AEW.
what an idle clicker is?
Yeah. So an idle clicker is basically a game where you will start to just passively generate stuff venture capitalist is a popular one. You just click a button and then it starts to passively generate money, and then you have to collect that money, and eventually you're trying to automate the collection of that money. But you have to go up the steps, and each time you level up different skills and stuff, it starts costing more and more money to level the skills up, and it takes less and less time. But you have to eventually start going up like a tree of sorts, and you have to keep progressing and progressing and progressing and progressing and progressing. But each level it takes longer for the money to generate, and you need more money as time goes on. And it's just it goes from being you're leveling up every second to you're leveling up every 12 hours.
I see.
Kind of deal.
And you don't really have to do too
one
much
right now. Yeah, it's just it's little bursts of time that you have to engage with it. So the AEW game, I'll sit there for 30-40 minutes just clicking at stuff, going through, doing different things, and then I won't have anything to do again for another 5-6 hours. But there's monetization they add to these, and I've been tempted to spend money on it. I haven't, but I've been tempted because it's kind of addictive. But there's monetization so that you can do more things with the time, because some of the stuff is gated behind certain currencies, and you can only get those currencies every so many hours, so that they keep you coming back, or you can watch ads to get a boost here and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of fun, but it's also kind of embarrassing for me a little bit, just because it just feels kind of dumb. I'm just sitting there walking around just clicking things and doing my wrestling.
I understand. What about you, Hustle? What's your guilty pleasure?
Musou games.
Ground and pound.
Musou games.
My Little
What is
Pony
it?
Adventure.
Musou games like Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors. Musou is how it's pronounced.
I guess.
Yeah.
You
So
sure that's
Dynasty
how it's
Warriors,
We're gonna be
Samurai Warriors, all that stuff from Koei Tecmo.
okay.
That style, I don't care.
Dynasty
Whatever it
Warriors.
is, I'll play it. Pretty much. So I haven't bought the Pirate Warriors. I need to do that, but
I mean, Dynasty Warriors got trash at 9, though. I'm just gonna be honest.
you're not wrong about that. But I don't know. It's mindless fun of just destroying enemies with let me just press 2 buttons and just go through waves of enemies. You don't have to think.
Sometimes you need that simplicity.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's just simple fun. And I don't have a problem with that. Also, and another one too is this game I play on my phone called Snack Bar, and it's a bunch of cats that run restaurants. You upgrade the restaurant. I don't know why it's got cats. I was like, oh, it's a cat game. Okay, I want to play this. And yeah, so cats run a restaurant, and you upgrade the food stations that they work at to make more money. and you keep progressing through levels. It's like an idle clicker, kind of like what Time's playing, except it's with
So you
cats.
like to play a game where you turn cats into restaurant slaves?
Power Up?
Yikes!
I never looked at it that way until you said that. Yeah, I was
For some
thinking
reason,
that.
we're talking about things again.
First
I
off,
don't know
character-
where we got this from.
your character is the owner of the restaurant who is also a cat. So technically, it's like you're a small business owner who's a cat.
Do
who's
you
just
pay the
getting-
cat?
It sounds like a Mr. Krabs and
I don't
SpongeBob
know.
situation.
That's
Okay.
the part I don't know. I don't know if you pay the cats.
How do you not know if you pay the cats?
I don't know. It's like it generates income. I use the income to increase the workstations.
You
So
would
I'm
have been a
assuming-
great politician.
He said you would have been a great politician.
I'm
Yo,
assuming they get paid.
I mean,
yo, this is sounding like a Fortune 500
Like,
company
I'm not
where
really
the
worried
boss
about
doesn't know
the
any of his workers,
economy.
right?
I just, want to make sure that it's generating money. They got
I'm
paid.
Like, you know what?
Right.
I just want to make sure my school is up to date. No
I
one ever asked if I
right.
had to worry about the
do
students'
not
education.
think that I am not for cat workers' rights. I am definitely for cat workers' rights. Okay,
All right, so are they getting extra catnip?
we'll have to discuss that sometime down the line.
Is it called Is it called like cat HR, or is it called PR for perm?
Just know
Is it
that I
perm?
am for cat workers' rights
Say
here.
that
All right,
perm.
people. I'm not catsist. Okay.
Okay. Hey, discuss that in the next cat meeting is what is said in the chat.
Vote for me.
Raijin, what about you?
For me,
Mr. Fluffles.
Mr. Fluffles.
Mr.
For me, it's
Fluff-
like those gotcha RPGs like AFK Arena, Street Fighter Duel,
right.
Magic Rush Heroes. Like,
Can
so
you really be
those
shamed
are-
for playing that though? Like,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm gonna be
Really?
honest with you. I'm a gotcha fanatic. Like on my
Yeah.
phone, there's at least one gotcha game at all times. But I do have to admit, I can't stand the idle RPGs that are like AFK Arena. I don't like the idols. I literally like one thing that I'll say is that, like, for instance, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius had me in a chokehold for years. I'm talking when they released that Kingdom Hearts 3 content, I was about to empty that wallet to make sure I got the Sora and the Riku. But I was like, we're gonna keep it tame. You know what I'm saying? So what ended up happening was in the end I didn't get Sora. And I also felt like the pull rates were pretty bad on that one. But there are some that probably have shut down by now. Like I said, I always keep a rotation because my nightly routine would be, no matter what I was doing throughout the day, I used to get in the bed and I used to lay down and I'll play a gotcha game up until I start actually feeling tired. And it'll just be something where I could run through a couple of stages or something or whatever. But that would be like literally my daily routine. So gotcha games is like my little guilty pleasure. The chat said I got that sword. It hurt my pockets. I'm telling you. Loon definitely. Loon knows.
Did you ever play Fake Grand Order?
Yes.
Did you
I got
enjoy
at
it?
least two.
No.
What?
I got at least two gotcha games in my phone that I regularly do play, and that's Final Fantasy VII, Ever Crisis, and
Yep.
Dislight.
Dislight
was funky. I didn't mind it.
Yeah, and I love the designs of all the characters, and the fact that they're all like based on mythology. I love, me. I'm a fucking mythology fanatic. So anything that has different gods, I'm down for usually. That's like one of my favorite things.
Stop playing Brave Exvius. I just took Dislight off of my phone. Now I have like Wild Rift on my phone, but like I keep deleting it. Like I keep like the same way that I stop playing League every so often, I'll stop playing Wild Rift. So,
My phone's battery life sucks too much for that. For Wild Rift.
Since I'm laying down, it's usually plugged in.
You know what? I think I know exactly what game is my guilty pleasure, and I feel like y'all would agree of it being a guilty pleasure.
What's that?
TFT.
Teamfight Tactics.
I can't do auto chess.
Yeah, like that. I think that qualifies more as my guilty pleasure.
That's it. I'd say that qualifies. I don't see a lot of people up here standing for Teamfight Tactics.
Yeah.
I can't do auto chess battlers because when the RNG does not go my way, I turn to an angry little boy, and I don't try to have that come out, so I don't play TFT.
Yo,
You know, I've never won a game of TFT. I've tried, but you know,
are you serious? Never.
The table flipping is real.
Like I've gotten to like that, but
I mean, I will admit that it has gotten like considerably harder to win a match of
strategy
TFT, and it changes. Like the strategy changes every single season. Every time they change champions or abilities or skins, because every time they change the skins, they change the abilities too. And then they change. They kind of slightly tweak the items and also the augments. It gets wild. Like that game is never stagnant. I mean, that game is never it's never stagnant. It's never static.
Well,
it's always changing.
They just changed all the items recently, I believe.
Yep. There's no more mythic.
There's
no more mythic. Like they kept mythic. They brought in mythic for like what, 8 months?
2 seasons?
No, it was a few seasons.
It was like
and then boom, right? Gone. The items are still there. The items are still there.
They're just no longer mythic.
They just don't have the
no longer
bonuses
mythic, and it no longer
effects.
stacks the way mythic would stack with all your other items.
So then, what's the point of building them?
You don't build it.
They're still
you still build the
They're
items.
still just top tier legendary items, but they don't have the crazy effects anymore. Like Jock Shows doesn't have the AoE drain and healing and stuff like that. And like you don't get bonus for every legendary item you complete, like how Leander used to give extra ability haste per legendary item you build, stuff like that. They don't do all that stuff anymore. They added new items with different effects for all the roles, and they retuned.
Oh my god! What I love,
just being regular
mages finally got new, better mage items. Because I really felt like the item pool for mages had been it's just been like just the same. It's been stagnant for way too long. Mages were really just like overlooked. Tanks got better items. ADCs got better items. Assassins got dope ass items. Mages really didn't get much.
I'll have to try the new system now, I guess, and see how it is in comparison to the old one with the mythics and shit.
Yeah, like one of the best,
better or
like
worse?
one of the better.
It's
better.
better
I'm gonna
spot.
honestly say it's better. Yeah, like Crypto Bloom gives you 30% magic penetration off the bat, 15 ability haste, 70 ability power. Whenever you get a takedown on an enemy champion within 3 seconds of damaging them, you create a healing nova on their location that heals allies.
Yeah, it's just a quick little AoE heal. They add a lot more utility with certain items. So if you got good at like mages that can like chain a bunch of takedowns together, you can also do some backup healing for your team. So
that's not bad then.
And they gave mages more, like the items that they gave mages. They gave them, for one, they gave them 2 more items. They brought back Luden's Luden's companion. I think they realized that mages didn't have enough items that gave mana. Like it was mostly support mages that had items for mana, but actual mages themselves didn't have enough items for mana. So they gave like at least 3 new items with mana and gave it enough of an ability boost for it to actually matter.
And I guess this could also be a guilty pleasure of mine too. It's like The Sims. I guess that's.
I did not know you played The Sims.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like
I got like 100-something hours on
the game.
It's relaxing to me, and it gives me stuff to focus on. For my fucking ADHD brain.
So it's kind of like one of those things that will actually allow you to get a little bit of control over your mind and kind of give you that calm down. See, City Skylines is kind of that thing for me.
Same there too.
Building, like when I start like putting together a city and things like that. Oh, by the way, there's also I just read something earlier. There's a new mod for City Skylines that actually helps get things together a little bit.
You know
Health
what?
performance?
I think I'm changing my guilty pleasure game.
What is it?
I
City
feel like
Skylines?
everyone just keeps getting
It's
more
City
ideas
Skylines, isn't it?
and like
No.
focusing what their guilty pleasure actually is.
No, all right. I like trashy, like not trashy, but like I like cheap looking indie
What game?
style tycoon games.
Oh, those are fun.
Like Roller Coaster Tycoon?
No. I'm playing right now my not serious game when I'm not playing Power World, WoW, or like another game. Is Startup Tycoon, I think it is. Let me see.
I feel like I have
I
that.
actually played a
Startup
cell phone
Tycoon.
game called Game Dev Story. Sorry.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like,
All right.
I have that too.
What is that? What
no, I
is
have
that
it on my
one?
phone.
It's like Apple. It's in like Apple Arcade. It's called Game Dev Story, and literally, you open a game studio, you develop, and you develop video games, and you hire programmers, sound engineers, designers, artists, directors, producers, all of that stuff, and your goal is within 15 years to make games that hit that game of the year and that Hall of Fame type of area.
I suck.
Oh,
So I mean, it's gonna take a couple of runs, but yeah, it's actually quite a good game. So
Great
if you
game, yeah.
actually have Apple Arcade, I would definitely
that sounds
recommend
really fun.
Game
Actually,
Dev Story.
And then
Trying it out.
There's another one you can buy. It's relatively inexpensive. Game Dev Tycoon is another one.
Okay.
That one's a really good one too.
Which system is that?
It's iPhone, Android,
Okay.
and PC.
Okay.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, I got it back before, like, I got it like back when it was like you could only buy it on their website. And it's a really good game. A lot of fun. And it's just a really charming thing. But like I love those things. Yeah, I've always like one of my favorite things to do when I was a kid was like my mom would go to Walmart and I would go to the electronics aisle and I would go look for like the bargain PC games.
the bargain bin games.
Not even big, but yeah, like there was like a little section they had off on the side where it's like you could find like $5 and below PC games, and like that was where I'd get stuff like your Bejeweled, I think, and stuff like that, or but like occasionally I'd find like Mall Tycoon. There's like one that sticks out to me, where like you would have to go and build your own little shopping center, and like it wasn't like the best game in the world, but like for me it was so much fun. Like so today as an adult, I don't care how bad they are. Like if I see them, I'll typically, if it's like $10 or something, I'll pick them up just to give them a shot and see how they are.
Okay. I think we actually hit quite some. Like I think a few of these could be considered gems, if you want me to be honest. Or
Especially the tycoon games, because I've never even heard of those.
Yeah, like if we hit hidden gems, and like, all right. So here's the thing. My goal with us doing this is to bring awareness and to bring some sense of like expanding the gamer outlook, the gaming stereotype, what people think that gamers are, what we do, what we're about, how we are. Like when I talk to people and they automatically just tend to think that all we do is sit in a room at night and yell at each other, like I don't particularly like that stereotype. So I want to show people that we're actually real people. We are knowledgeable and intelligent, and it ain't all about Call of Duty. There are other games out there that are not Call of Duty, that are not whatever else, Final Fantasy or whatever else you think that is all we play. But now today I want to move into something that's a little bit different. Since we started off today's episode with guilty pleasures, I want to move into talking about something that is either going to be a guilty pleasure game or it's going to be something of an epic game, and that is Suicide Squad. So Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, and please don't, flag us for this YouTube for saying this name so many times. But Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has been released, or in early access technically, and they've run into their share of issues. Let me be clear, they've run into their share of issues. So one of the issues is like the first day of early access, they had like a major game breaking bug where when you logged in for the first time onto the servers, the game would show that it was completed already.
Oh wow!
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
That's a bug right there.
Yeah, it's a bug. So, what they did was first day of early access, they put the game up, and when that bug was discovered, they immediately took the game down. Like they took down their servers, they made it so that you couldn't get on it for a while. It was an undisclosed amount of time, but after a few hours, they said it was back up again. A few days later, they went down with their servers yet again. So they've been having some issues, and I believe that they said that they were going to give their players a undisclosed amount of money in-game currency in order to kind of make up $20. $20 in in-game currency in order to make up for it. Obviously, we know that the game has things like a Game Pass and microtransactions upcoming. So not Game Pass, but a Battle Pass or whatever. Like there's going to be expansions. So we wanted to, just kind of cover that. In order to combat the bug, they definitely took down their servers, but now that it's back up, people are playing it. I've heard some things about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League myself. We've had our thoughts. We've all had our biases, and we definitely were like, I think I want to defer to Raijin on this one because, he definitely said that he was going to be one of those people who bought the game. Did you get it already? Do you have it? Have you played it? What's your experience?
No, I didn't pre-order for the early access. I just plan to get it on Friday and just play on the actual launch day. I don't know. I see a bunch of stuff, and I've been dodging TikToks like I'm in a minefield because so many people posted like spoiler footage for later on the game. And I was like, I'm not trying to see any of this shit. I don't know. It's disappointing with it's disappointing with all like the bad flag it's getting because it's like obviously it probably should have been in the oven a little bit longer, cook a little bit more. That's what it's seeming like. But I mean, from what early stuff I've seen, I personally still don't think it looks that bad. And all I hear is the story and the character and the acting. Everything about that is good, which is kind of the main reason I'm getting it because I want to see the story. Like at that point, gameplay. Not gonna say gameplay be damned, but I mean, if the story's good enough and the gameplay can hold up enough, can end up being a good experience for me. But like I said, I'm not getting until Friday, so we'll see what happens. But
I've heard some good things about the story too. I actually heard that the story is kind of like a level of a B. Like it's actually one of the better game stories that you could experience. Hustle, you look like you got something you want to say.
Huh? I know things about the story that I'm not going to say.
Please don't. The game isn't released
I don't want to
yet.
spoil it for people, but
yeah.
When people play it Friday and they beat it
Saturday,
it's gonna be a very divisive game, I think, amongst people, at least from a story perspective. And I guess the gameplay looks very monotonous, but from a story perspective, I think that's like the driving line of like you're gonna have people who just straight up hate the story and people who like the story. I don't think there's gonna be an in between of like, oh, it was alright, or like, it was cool. I think it's just gonna be a hard line. I hate this versus I loved it, and nothing in between that. Because there's a lot of things that happen here, that I've seen, and I was just like, that's gonna cause problems. Like that's gonna get people talking, and not for the right reasons.
So we know that you're a Marvel fan. Are you also like a DC fan in any capacity?
Yeah. I like both Marvel and DC. I prefer Marvel more because I feel like the characters are more relatable, but I also like DC too.
Okay. So this story and the things that you know, without any spoilers,
would you say that writing, voice acting, and how Rocksteady has managed to put this together would be considered top tier in amongst gaming?
Voice acting is A1, top notch, like straight up. Samoa Joe is phenomenal as a. Yeah, I never thought I could say this about Samoa Joe, who's a wrestler. He's fantastic as a voice actor. Like, I don't know why that's not being talked about enough, because he voices King Shark. Why is no one talking about how great of a voice actor he is? Which is ridiculous.
Because the game is yet.
Because he only just got started between Sweet Tooth and King Shark.
Really? That was his only other.
To my
other
knowledge,
experience?
Sweet Tooth was his first gig, and then King Shark. Yeah. He's he's only just getting started.
He's a fucking natural. Cause it doesn't like it does. It sounds like when you hear him speak as King Shark, it really does feel like this is somebody who's had experience for years being a voice actor.
I might be wrong about. Yeah, I could be wrong about that, but everything
he's
have
good.
never.
Looks like the only other thing he did before that, he voiced Juggernaut in Dota 2.
Okay, there you go.
In what?
Oh,
In Dota 2.
That was him? Oh shit! I didn't know that. Oh, there you go. Graphically, looks fantastic. I love how the designs of all the heroes look, especially Wonder Woman. I really love how they design Wonder Woman because she looks more Mediterranean now. She's got like olive skin and has like kind of classic features to her face. Like if you go look at a screenshot of how they design Wonder Woman, you're like, yo, that's dope as hell, right? So graphically looks great. Voice acting is A1. The gameplay loop, it just, that's where it just kind of looks just not interesting.
I
like
would
it
say,
feels like, no, go ahead.
I would say for me, I'm closer to where you're at with this.
Yeah.
But I do think it's going to be a solid game. Like, think about what you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, the voice acting is solid. The game looks good. The stories, like there's some divisive things that you're worried about being divisive. But like, if you don't personally mind what you know, then the story is solid. If you do mind what you know, like then that's fair. But like, all things considered, it sounds like Eric's right. It sounds like it's shaping up to be at least a decent game. It's not. Will it be as good as the previous installments in this franchise? No, absolutely not. It sounds like, but it sounds like it's probably going to be pretty solid. Like it sounds like if you are looking for a new Batman adventure,
Well, not
Batman. If you're looking for a new Arkham universe adventure, then this could potentially scratch that itch. It's going to be hit or miss.
I mean, Gotham Knights could have scratched that itch too, but everybody ragged on Gotham Knights.
I'm gonna say this: it should have been in the universe of Gotham Knights.
Okay.
It shouldn't have been. I don't think it should have been Arkham universe.
Whoa, calm down, Jamal.
Wait, did Gotham Knights ever even come out?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, it did. But it's not the same universe as the Arkham.
It's not the Arkham universe.
Yeah, separate.
It's its own separate.
This is the Arkham universe.
They're doing the Elseworld shit with games too. So it's like,
Yeah. I
Apparently, Loon said that this is shaping up to be a game of the year type of game. First of all, we're gonna stop putting that opinion out there with our name attached to it, because all this blasphemy is crazy, bro.
also, just correction on Smojo Sweet Tooth. He only did the motion capture. Will Arnett does the voice. Well, not voice capture. He does the body work. Like he's physically the character, but they dub Will Arnett's voiceover.
Okay, well,
nice.
he kills his King Shark. I can say that. Like he got that down.
I mean, I haven't heard Samoa Joe. I haven't
Game of the year. My man said game of the year, bro. Go play it, and you're gonna be like.
Loon said he was gonna play it. Like Loon said, without any kind of denial, that when the game released, he was gonna play it. The only reason that we're even talking about it right now is because there's so much news surrounding it, and I know that this is gonna be a big ticket item. But at the same time, like. For instance, probably what is it next week? We're gonna get some new stuff coming, and like as February starts rolling on,
I mean, it's a short
we're about to start walking into that season where we get some bangers. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the 29th day of February. But we're gonna talk about that in a few minutes.
Like I will say this: it's a short game from what it seems like. You could probably beat it in like, honestly, you can beat it in like probably 5 hours, 6 hours, something like that. Because Moist beat it in like 6 hours on his stream. So like,
6
not,
hours.
yeah, it's not a long game, you know. And again, you know what the problem is. I think from a writing perspective of the game, I think it suffers from the the Batman v Superman syndrome.
What's that?
Which you try to build a big crossover story without no build-up. So we have a Arkhamverse game, and this is the first time we get to meet the rest of the Justice League. For 4 solid games, we've played Batman, correct? We got to know his story, know his Rose Gallery. We got to know this version of Batman. This is the first game that we get to meet all the Justice League: Flash, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern. And they're not themselves in it. Like, they're evil. So like,
you mean like Injustice?
Yeah. No, but Injustice had the good versions of them too.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Because in Injustice 1, the good version of Batman, well, there's 2 good versions of Batman, but our prime version of Batman and some of the Justice League cross over into the Injustice world. So there's not that weird massive of like, all these guys are evil and we have nothing to kind of like gravitate to that's good. In Suicide Squad, the problem is we don't get to like know any of the Justice. It would have been cool if this was like a build-up. If we had a Superman game, Green Lantern game, Wonder Woman game, Flash game, and then it all connects up to a Suicide Squad game. You know how dope that would be? Like, the hype for that would be real. Like, we had no idea that this is all going to lead up to like a Suicide Squad game where the Justice League turns evil, but you got to play a bunch of different games of the Justice League members, and maybe even we had a mashup of a Justice League game.
Okay.
We had a Justice League team up game, and then at the end of it, you see like,
that sounds like a lot of games, bro. That sounds like 20 years worth of work.
Yeah.
yeah,
It would have been worth it. It would have been worth it.
But we're talking about if we're talking about an Arkham universe here, right? Why not build it up?
I mean, I could see where you're coming from. By the way, welcome, Chaotic. Loon is asking that's a really tight question. And I think that our later topic is actually going to go into that a little bit. He asks, how long do you think Suicide Squad will stay alive?
I'm going to be real with you. That gameplay loop and what I know, if it makes it past this year, I'll be shocked.
I don't think it's fair to bring up the gameplay loop because a lot of gameplay loops are not for people. Like, I'm not Diablo 3. I wasn't that motherfucker going in every season back to back getting new armor. I don't like Warframe's gameplay loop. Some people don't like Monster War Hunter's gameplay loop. Like, it's different for everybody. So
I couldn't even begin to guess how long it's gonna last. Like, I don't know what kind of leash they have. I don't know what their internal expectations are for it. Like, there's so many things. If I had to guess, I would say hopefully at least 2 years.
Ooh, what's going on, Goji? He said that he thinks Suicide Squad is going to last longer than the Avengers.
Probably. I mean, it's not that hard.
Probably. Yeah.
How long did
Avengers
Avengers
was
last?
around for quite a while.
Official support for Avengers stopped September.
So how long was it out?
September,
It's like, what, 5-6 years?
Okay.
2019.
Longer?
Yeah, that's about 4 years.
This is WB we're talking
September
about.
2020. So yeah, like almost exactly 3 years.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it'll last that long.
No,
It's possible. Like, it's entirely possible. Like, I am more than willing to, if they come out the gates and they are quick to address issues, I'd say it's possible.
I mean, they've been doing that thus far.
But here's the thing. But here's the thing: the live service space, like the games as a service space, that bubble is collapsing right now.
Yeah.
If this was 2 or 3 years ago, I think you're probably right. It would have stood a chance to be around longer than the Avengers. But like the games industry, we've suffered almost like 30,000 layoffs in the last year. Like these these teams don't have a whole lot of leash right now. They need to be making money and quick. So like, while I would love to see them have a game that goes on for 4, 5, 6 years, if that's what their goal is, even. It's going to require that the game sells well up front and that they are generating enough revenue through their microtransactions to stay open. And like that's probably one of the hard parts right now. Like people are going to want a game that feels like it's worth spending money on. And like Mike's point with the gameplay loop, that's where the gameplay loop comes in. Like, I don't know, like, it may not be for me, right? Like, I haven't seen much of it, but like, I might actually wind up picking it up during a winter sale this year. If it come to a decent sale. You know, like, but like, there are plenty of games out there where like I didn't think they'd actually succeed, and they wound up succeeding. Like we talked about this before we went on the air. Like I call some things, but there are some things where I'm like, no way, and then people love it, and I'm like, hey, that's cool. I can't name any off the top of my head, but I'm sure it's happened.
So I mean, I don't know what you mean, Loon. Them PPP loans running out. Actually, I want to say that this is actually a really good time for a launch because number one, your window of games that have already come out is really small, right? You have a recognizable franchise, and then on top of the recognizable franchise, you're also going to release a game right before tax time. So those people who have fans or those people who are fans of the Suicide Squad, those people who actually enjoy how that just how that story could potentially go, or who might love the movie or love characters like Batman and Harley Quinn and all that, they're probably gonna pick it up. There's some people I know who will literally get any superhero game that they have ever seen just because it's a superhero game. Hey, what's going on, Precious? So just because it's a superhero game. And I actually want to take the time to also make sure that I encourage everyone who is here watching us live. Like, we're very interactive, so we like to make sure that our audience is just as much a part of the conversation as possible. We ask questions of you. We read your comments and questions here, and we try to answer them for you to the best of our ability. And if there's anything that you want to know or anything that you kind of have questions about, definitely make sure to ask us, and we'll definitely participate with you and kind of try to get those answers to you. We want everybody to be comfortable. Like I said, we're trying to open up that space of being a gamer, especially being men, like especially being older, like we're trying to open up that space of being a gamer and let everyone know that it's not everything that the people make us gamers out to be. So, but yes, you said you love the Suicide Squad. I think that right there is recognizable enough where if you had a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox, you want to go pick it up and at least try it out, even if you didn't see anything about it. So I think that with that being said, the next question that I have, without us knowing the studio's metrics, what does success look like for this game?
I was also going to add in to that WB's track record of supporting their games as a service games has not been good. There was what was that DC MOBA?
Infinite Crisis.
That died in a year. Gotham City Imposters, that died in, I think,
2.5 years. 2.5 years.
I don't know any of these games.
Gotham City Imposters was like a Team Fortress 2 style game set in like Gotham City. They had different classes and stuff like that. Yeah, it was cartoony. But it was
that game was really good.
Yeah. Infinite Crisis was really good too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
but
That was a
this
really
is-
good MOBA.
This is why I don't have a whole ton of confidence in the game lasting long. Like WB doesn't have a wonderful track record with giving
No, they don't.
teams a long leash,
If-
and that's when
unless
the
you're Mortal
industry's
Kombat.
booming.
Unless
Yeah.
you're Mortal Kombat.
I was gonna say, unless it's
Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
but is that
Well,
more
yeah.
WB than it is NetherRealm Studios?
That's WB because they.
Well, I mean, it's
Yeah.
owned by WB, but NetherRealm has built that even before WB owned them. And am I right?
Oh yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But they still have to like. They still have to get like. There's still some overhead saying like, "Hey, we want to like do another combat pack and all this shit." And they're like, "Well, you can do that, or you can start working on like I don't know,
Is
like
DC
Injustice
Universe
3 or
on
some
WB
shit."
game?
Yeah, and not only that, but the consensus right
DC
now,
Universe Online is also WB, I believe.
that surprisingly has lasted long. I don't know how they haven't given
That
up
is
on
still
that.
going.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
shocked by
yeah, WB game.
But that is also an MMO. So that
True,
caters to a completely different crowd.
but
Yeah, it's a little different.
so what does success look like here?
And it's also free to play.
So for me, I think so. My version of success for them would be coming out and getting surprisingly good user reviews and being able to have a more positive than negative buzz in terms of like, I think if people come out and they're talking about how fun the game is, I think that'll be a big win for them. I don't like, and I think they need to sell like 2 or 3, like at least 2 or 3 million units, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2.5, 3 million units. Solid reviews. Not saying it needs to be like 9, 10, but if people see it's like a
At
7,
least an 8.
see if it's like a
Yeah,
7
I
or
mean,
8, that'll get
I
people
feel
to
like
buy it
gamers
even
will
on
buy a
just like
7 or an 8.
Yeah.
Realistically, yeah, like I think that sounds pretty right. Like it doesn't have to get 9s or 10s.
Also, like as like Tom pointed out, like I'm not sure what they're like most of these games like that. It's like, hey, here's our plan for like month 3, month 6. Here's what we're like. Like if they have solid new characters coming out, like they already said the Joker's coming out. If you get more solid like DC rogues popping in there or something, like I don't know, like put more Flash from it, put like Mirror Master in there or some shit like that, or like
Captain Cold.
Captain Cold or something.
And make him play different than everybody else
Yeah.
too. Where he
Well,
just
and
has a
like-
bunch of different cold guns.
Yeah, and the thing about this for the success is, and these are going to be things we're not going to be able to know until they tell us. But like they're going to need to have reasonable success with their marketplace. Like they're going to have that MTX stuff. Like they're going to have reasons for people to want to buy it and compelling things to buy. You know, like they, you know, we're going to probably touch on this at some point tonight. But one of my big philosophies around like MTX is that I think too often people forget that it's supposed to add value, not like replace value. And they need to make sure they follow those kinds of principles of adding value. So like, you know, making sure those skins are high quality, but like also there's high quality things in the game that people can just acquire from playing it. Like they're going to have to walk that line and have that balance. So I think those are the things I'm curious to see play out over the next few weeks. Is like how rewarding is the core reward system outside of the store, by example.
Right. Like
Again,
one of the
I know a
things
lot
that
of-
made me the most angry with Avengers was throughout the entire game, I'm finding these items that are powering me up and they look cool when I find them, and I'm looking at these blueprints and then I put them on
Yeah.
and my character never changes.
Yep.
Yeah, that was dumb.
That is.
Wait, you mean
the
like?
one
Wait, do you
complaint
mean
I've
like
heard
there's
from
no
people.
actual like power scaling progression?
No,
No,
visual.
visually the gear that you
visual
get doesn't
outfit
change.
never changes
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
unless you went to the store and bought the skins.
Yeah. And
Oh,
I'm not sure, but like that's the impression I get from Suicide Squad. Like I get the impression if there are skins or something. I have no idea. I have not seen anything about it. I am coming to conclusions. We are concluding here.
Yeah, we're not revealing
same thing with
anything.
me because I haven't seen anything about that game at all.
Right.
But as far as Avengers goes, though, but like, yeah, that was an incredibly weird thing where it's like I'm used to playing games where, like World of Warcraft, right? Where you go and you get a new piece of gear, you pop that baby on, and oh hey, look at that, or Destiny 2.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Or Diablo.
or Diablo or any of these games, but like Avengers, it was like no, everything we got you, homie. It's all your skin.
Like I was playing as Iron Man and it was like, yo, this dope armor looking piece. Loon said Hulk's ribcage.
Oh, it's something like that.
Like when you saw those
definitely
pieces that look like,
showed.
it's like, oh, these look like some like Doctor Strange rune encrusted,
Right.
Like,
And it never happened.
And then you don't see nothing. It's like I don't like they dropped the ball so
It
hard.
kills the vibe because it's like the best part about playing any sort of like thing with RPG based mechanics to it is the visual upgrade that you get when you get a new piece of gear. It also hits that like that dopamine, right? Like it's like, oh, look how cool this looks. I can look even cooler now.
Gotcha games. I need that dopamine hit, bro.
It's the same thing with like Borderlands.
I need that dopamine hit,
Yeah,
bro.
or like with Borderlands. It's like, oh, I got a new gun, but I
actually-
visually see how different the gun looks from the gun I had before.
Goji Senpai said a couple of things that actually might, because remember he played it before. I feel like we probably should have had him in this time too, but it's fine. It's fine. Next time, we got you again. Anyway, he said that he feels like success for this game would be at least 1.5 million units sold and a strong concurrent player base. But he also said that there are things that you get that can change your appearance, like your melee weapons, and each character has a slot for specific gear, like a specific gear item slot for them, and of course you get skins.
Okay.
And Loon said that he believes Disney restricted the Avengers from doing various costume changes without microtransactions. So, but again, all of this is speculation.
I mean,
This is not legal advice.
yeah. I mean, you got, for example, like, okay, so like Warframe, you know how you had the mod system. Mod systems are your upgrades and your changes, but you can still visually change your Warframe without having to spend your money because you get like a free color pack that at least allows you to differently color your Warframe. And then you can also, you can like grind up to actually make platinum so you can buy stuff from the store. You don't ever have to spend a dime on Warframe. You can just get that by selling prime parts on the marketplace that someone is going to pay
platinum for. Yeah, you can make money by grinding in Warframe. Like you can make platinum, which is real world currency, by grinding through the stages, because you're gonna find somebody like me who's gonna pay platinum to shortcut that grind.
Yeah,
and you can also find people who will pay for your account.
That's it. That too.
If only it was a
Hey Tones.
Yeah.
Did you give us your opinion on what you thought success looked like?
No,
I heard a whole lot of nodding and agreeing here, but like, did you give your actual opinion here, sir?
He pleads the fifth.
Well, me pleading the fifth would imply that I actually am going to incriminate myself if I give my opinion. The way that I see success in this game is that, especially in a live service space, is sustainability. But I also think that it's going to have to move at least 3 million units. You have games like Power World setting records, and it's actually like one of the highest played Game Pass games now. And this was out of nowhere, whereas this game has been advertised and hyped. Like, we've not gotten reviews ahead of time. We've not gotten reviewer copies. I think you're banking on making sure that those units are sold and also having that strong player base. I do think that you need like 2 or 3 million units, at least 2 million, in order just to sustain the ongoing. But I also think that skins, DLCs, and things of that nature are probably going to be a big part of its success, and especially to see how long the game is going to keep going as far as that live service goes. And right now, I don't know if I see your average gamer opening their pocket to a new live service element when even the older live service elements are struggling.
Yeah. Not only that, but like
Yeah, I see that.
the seasons have to be worth people spending their time on that game. Like we're talking really good different bosses. Like I want to know what exactly is the plan.
Could you imagine a Suicide Squad raid? Bro, you announce raids and you automatically got a specific level of core gamer who's gonna want to play.
And it has to be things that are different from the main story. You know what I mean? Like new enemies, new enemy types, and you know what I mean?
Like, I think one of the reasons I get skeptical about these kinds of things so easily, is I do a lot of projecting with this kind of thing. Like 100% undoubtedly. And part of that though is like I ask myself, all right, so like who is the target? Like who is this game competing with? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, I start there. And for me, like, all right, so this is what, a 4-player co-op game?
Yeah, 4-player co-op, live service, like
that's why I said Destiny.
Collect gear. So Destiny.
Yeah, so you're competing with Destiny 2, the
Diablo.
Division, Diablo, Destiny 2, the Division 2, Diablo, Overwatch to some capacity, but not really.
It's another one.
You know, not really Overwatch.
Remnant 2.
Yeah, Remnant 2. Like you're
It's
competing,
Remnant 2.
You're competing with all these different games. What do you offer after the story aspect is done that separates you from these other games that people already have time and money invested into? And is that good enough to get people to want to now spend money in your game outside of just their time? And like I haven't seen enough from this yet. I also haven't watched enough of it yet. But there's also not enough reviews of it. I haven't seen enough yet to convince me that like this game's gonna have drawing power to be able to keep an audience like that outside of the story. Because like if the story's only 6 hours, if the gameplay loop, you know, and again, we don't know much about the gameplay loop, but if it's not fun, or if it's just kind of passing, will that be enough to keep those kinds of players in? Like is playing as a Suicide Squad enough to maintain that audience? And the answer could be yes. Like it's 100% possible.
Goji Senpai said that well, he said Warframe always has events going on and you can get platinum, but when it comes to
I like Goji's, sorry.
Oh, he said that so like I said, the story seems great. So I could definitely see them having DLC or even side content already in the game that will help players help keep players captivated and keep playing it. But again, the gameplay is iffy. If your gameplay is iffy.
Now, the thing about it being a live service game, and Goji Senpai is absolutely right here, right? One of the models live service games have been adopting, and I'm going to give credit to Bungie for this because it feels like they were some of the ones who kind of paved this route. You're starting to see more games deliver less content up front and kind of trickle it out over time. So, like, it's entirely possible that, like, you have a situation where there's only 6 hours of story right now, and then in a couple weeks they start patching more story in or something. Like that's not impossible for a live service game. I'm not getting my hopes up for it, but like it's possible to do stuff like that. Like they have events and stuff that add to the story.
Absolutely. So
I mean, honestly, that's the way Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Finish your topic so we can start moving to the next one.
I was gonna say, like, honestly, that's kind of the way I felt about like when Genshin Impact came out, because I kind of felt like Genshin Impact was gonna be one of those games where if there wasn't such a great story behind it, it was literally just gonna be an open sandbox game where you were just gonna grind the ever loving crap out of every character you get and power level it for like what 7 to 8 hours depending on like spawn rates on like boss monsters and drop rates for certain items. Power level and then just beat the nearest dungeon, progress the story, and be done. Like the story is actually really good.
I have
don't forget Relink
back myself. When it comes to Genshin Impact, And actually, right now, all the Hoyoverse games, their stories are good. Even Honkai Star Rail story is amazing. Like, it was one of the biggest stream games when it came out. Problem for me is that you get to a certain point and your progression goes slower than the story does, and so then they force you into certain side missions until you get to a certain level. And the reason that I haven't even gotten to the second real world in Honkai Star Rail is because I'm still fighting that tedium and monotony that I keep running into every time I try to get on and progress in some of the side missions, because they take forever for you to level up. So Genshin is a little bit of a different story, and that kind of drives me away. If you want me to stay
from Honkai Star Rail,
from Genshin, like Genshin did the same thing. I literally ran into the same.
So it deters you away from Hoyoverse entirely.
Like it drives me away from the game when I reach that point in the game.
Okay, all right.
And so I thought what you were saying was that because
they follow that trend with almost every game that they do.
Correct.
Okay. Which you're entirely correct about that, honestly, because they did it in Honkai Third Impact, then they did it in Genshin, then they did it in Star Rail.
Yeah. It's just their thing. It's how they space it out so that you don't breeze through all of the story content and then feel like, all right, well, I'm done now. And it gives you an opportunity to experience the rest of the things that they have in the game while they're adding more story, because the story continues and continues and continues. And they continue
to build 3 stories like simultaneously too, which is mind blowing.
If we're gonna go like I that sounds like it could be cool in live service, but that could also be expensive if you're not bringing in revenue. And that's why that whole gacha service that Genshin and the other kind of things have, it helps keep it, helps keep it making money, but this is a game that we're supposed to be playing, experiencing the story, and wanting to go further with DLC. So we'll see how it goes. We may or may not revisit Suicide Squad after its release and see, and see, what we can get out of it and how it's going forward. If it's a train wreck, then we might talk about it. If it's a great game that, everybody's talking about, we might talk about it as well. So we don't want to see anything fail. And again, like, this is kind of a conversation to just preclude, like, number one, it's had its set of issues already. So sometimes that set of issues brings notoriety. And they say all news is good, no news is good news, but remember that all fame is still fame. Like, whether you're famous or infamous, your name is still on the tip of everyone's tongues. So, hopefully, even with the issues that they've had week 1 of early access, it's still going to be something that's going to be fruitful for them as a company, as a game, and help people kind of see, like, maybe I should go check this out. Maybe I should check a live stream. Even if you're going to check a live stream and see if it fails, find that you really are enjoying the story, and then it becomes the number 1 stream game for February.
But honestly, ain't that the same thing that happened? Like I said, ain't that the same thing that happened with Genshin?
Kinda, yes.
Which honestly, to me, the story, the streaming are like the only selling points. Oh, and the character models.
Yeah.
Those are like the selling points for me. Honestly, the thing that makes me keep on walking away from Genshin is the abysmal drop rate percentages for 5-star characters. 0.6%.
That's how they keep you spending.
Yeah.
That's so damn low.
That's on purpose to keep you spending.
I understand it's on purpose to get you to spend, but 0.6%? And your pity system only kicks in after 75 rolls.
Just gotta crack open that bank card.
Gotcha.
Which guarantees you a 5-star role. It doesn't guarantee you a 5-star character role. It guarantees you a 5-star role, meaning you could still get a 5-star weapon.
Yeah, but that's a system that depends on the whales. The people.
You know what? I just thought about it. Why are we taking your opinion? You're the one that said that 6 players is too many. So let's look.
It's gonna get.
We're gonna move on.
You're not gonna keep pulling that up. Bro.
We're just gonna get We're just gonna get you a little nice cross-stitch poster that says like that, like a nice like lettering.
6 too many.
Yep.
6 is the crowd. That 6
my
is the
man,
crowd.
my man said, "Yo,
I'm gonna get a hat. I'm gonna get a t-shirt that says 6 is
too
the crowd.
many characters in Overwatch. We need less." He wanted Overwatch to be 3 players.
Hey, bro, they did the
bro.
same thing with DMZ. At one point, you could bring an entire 3-man squad into your 3-man squad and make a 6-man squad, and they dropped it down.
We're gonna talk about February's real game of the month. All right, February's real game of the month is gonna be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Okay,
that is very true.
Coming out February 29th. Yeah. Yes, this year is a leap year. Yes, there are 366 days this year. Yes, there is a 29th day of February. And on that 29th day, there was
somebody finally gets a birthday.
There was Rebirth.
I don't know what you're talking about. Skull and Bones comes out the 16th.
Yeah, anyway.
How many pages already have that game?
Yo, come on. Don't
Anyway,
do it like that.
along with the rich story and the vast history of Final Fantasy, there have been many, many, many Final Fantasy games. In a recent article, they even revealed that we already know that we got the Final Fantasy VII remake, and now we're at Rebirth, right? So there has been a big calling for a remake of Final Fantasy VI. Okay, now Final Fantasy VI, if you don't know, had one of the best villains to ever exist in a Final Fantasy game, aka Kefka. So anyway, but he said that actually a Final Fantasy VI remake would be extremely difficult. It took about what did he say, 10 years to make Rebirth, and it probably doesn't even count what it took to put into remake. He says it would take approximately double that amount of time to make a Final Fantasy VI remake, due to all of the characters within the game. And so what I wanted to talk about, since we have a big anticipation, we got a little bit less than a month. Like there's literally probably 30 days to go before Rebirth is here. Yep. I want to get everybody's take. What's your favorite Final Fantasy game? If you've never played a Final Fantasy before, which one do you think would be the right entry point for you? We're gonna start with Token on this one.
No,
because he don't look like he want to answer.
No, you're gonna start with anyone else, because I've given you my answer on this topic, and you put it inside of a trash can, lit it on fire, and said, "Ha!"
He said 13, didn't he?
No.
He said, no, he said 15. I think.
No. I said 9.
What's wrong with 9? 9's fantastic.
Oh,
I said 9. I said.
I don't really
it's because when Tones asked that question, the way he worded it then was, what in your opinion was the best Final Fantasy? And I said 9.
I never said that. Oh wait, yes I did.
Bro.
I said it just now.
Yeah, you did.
You
shit all over my
is your
dreams.
favorite, or is it the best?
In my opinion, it's still the best to me.
Okay,
it's still the best.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a valid opinion. The only time that it's not a valid opinion is if you said 13.
If I would have said what?
13.
Oh.
Yeah, I said you made it seem like Token said 13 too.
Yeah, like 10-2, 13, 13-2. I hear Lightning Returns is good, but for me,
it was the only solid one out of that trilogy.
Trash can.
Honestly,
I said it was the only solid one out of the trilogy.
But
no, he's not wrong.
It was,
you know.
Oh my God, was it that bad?
That 13
yeah,
because I didn't play them. Like
13 trilogy is a dark time in Final Fantasy history.
13 almost had me break my TV and controller, and it was so bad that I had to give the game away. I don't get rid of games.
It's
All right,
so
so Token, I'm gonna give it to you straight. All right.
Here it comes.
Now you see, I'm about to swerve tones here. 13 is not as bad as people make it out to be, but it's not good. It is the main reason people hate that game, in my opinion, is because it holds your hand for way too long. But that being said, another reason people don't like it is because of the fact that older Final Fantasies were better about that the illusion
Being
of choice.
ruthless.
Well, no, it was better about like an illusion of choice. So like old school Final Fantasies, because they hit you with an open world fairly early in some cases, or like old school RPGs. Like my favorite RPG of all time is Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger.
Like, you get hit with an open world map super early, and it feels like you can go and do anything. But the reality is, there's only like 2 or 3 things you can actually do.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah. Side note. We just sold a Super Nintendo Entertainment System at the shop with Chrono Trigger and Road Rash.
Oh, nice.
That old motorcycle game.
Road Rash.
And that old motorcycle game on Super Nintendo. Yeah.
That sounded mighty disrespectful right now, but keep going.
That's good.
It's just because he brought up Chrono Trigger and then it popped.
That's fine.
Yeah, but like the moral I'm getting at is Final Fantasy 13. So 10 was the start of getting rid of that illusion. It was still there. 13, that illusion was gone. You were slapped in the face with, you must go down this corridor, and like the first like 30 hours of the game are just you going down a linear path. Excuse me. Absolutely no ability to choose anything.
No.
And it wasn't until you got to like the last like quarter of the game that it opened up and you can do like the exploration part of the game. And a lot of people just wanted to have that exploration like ability there. And they didn't have it, and it sucks.
I mean, when you can't explore in a Final Fantasy game, it takes away a lot of your grinding ability.
Not really.
Well, no, you could grind. Like there was corridors and stuff you can go grind.
Well, okay, I'd say grinding options.
Here's the thing.
Like one of my things in Final Fantasy 9, I used to love just like straight up 86 in the whole story for like 2 hours and just go grind on Grand Dragons. Just murk them.
Goji said that power level. His favorite is 7. He said, I'm generic. My favorite Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy 7 because it was the first PlayStation game that I beat by myself.
Yeah, 7's my favorite Final Fantasy personally, but I respect the opinion.
A lot of us feel that way.
I respect the opinion of people like I forget Eric. Your favorite? I thought it was 4, but it might have been 6.
No, it is. I was gonna say my favorite. I think also goes in with what is the best entry one, because let's be honest, the first 3 Final Fantasy games are not good. 3
are not. 3 was not bad. 3 was not for that time.
I was gonna say they weren't bad.
3 was not
original NES.
3 wasn't playable till they ported it to the DS. Let's be honest.
Sorry.
I think 4 was where they finally got in the groove of actually being able to tell a story, having good characters, good like a lot of good side content, great music. Great, like that was where I think Bobby's 4 to me is where it was the first one where everything actually came together. Like I still like 5. They slacked a little bit in some aspects. Story wasn't as great, kind of weird. The job system, I like the job system, but there was too much in 5. It was just way too much going on. They could have put the development time and other stuff. And then 6 is where it started becoming like
a big production.
Like,
see, and that's
Eric
my thing.
Basically said like 4 was basically like, oh, this is where we finally learn how to be a parent.
Yeah,
I'm gonna add on to that.
If you play those first 3 Final Fantasy games, like you never played before, and then you play 4, and then like, what the fuck is this other stuff I played? Like y'all had this in the tank the whole time. Like what happened?
Right.
I'm gonna add on to what you said though. I'm gonna add on to what you said by allegory. You know what 4 is? 4 is the Earthbound of the Mother series. Cause I played, bro. I finally got a chance to play the other games. They are not it, bro.
Mother 1 is not good. Mother 3 is just about on par with Earthbound.
Yeah, but Mother 1 is, oh my god, that shit is bad. Like, I've never seen a game where it's roll the dice, you just lose the first chance you step out the house. Literally. You can step out the house and just die, game over.
What is this game?
Mother 1.
The prequel to Earthbound, and that's
the prequel to Earthbound.
Oh, okay.
Like, dead ass. I played it, I was like, I'm good. I turned it right off. I was like, yeah, I'm good. No, I'm cool.
See, I don't know if I agree with that sentiment. They dropped the ball with Six Strangers to Paradise, and I'm really thinking that they didn't drop the ball, but it does a lot of explaining for Final Fantasy 1. Because Final Fantasy 1, like, the character's name is Warrior of Light, and like you never really get that explanation. Stranger of Paradise, what they did drop the ball with was that hair. The hair was burning out graphics cards. Like, it was, that game was so stressful. They should have kept going with it, but they could not keep going with it because the end of Stranger of Paradise was literally the beginning of Final Fantasy 1. So
Final Fantasy 14 tells a better story of one.
The hair was burning out graphics cards, and I can't
just saying.
Deal
if
right
you
now.
If you look at it, there were old articles where essentially like graphics cards were struggling to run the game on PCs because they pretty much put so much and such detailed hair into that game that during the cutscenes, especially, it was causing like computer crashes and graphic slowdowns. Like, it was causing.
Dear God.
Yeah, it was. But I mean, that's what happens when we demand more and more as far as graphics go, and we demand, better this and better that, and they do it. Sometimes
I'm looking at it right now, and oh God, that's a
lot of detail.
That's a, like, you can sit there with zoom in and start counting follicles.
It's the 14 pot all over again.
That's a lot of
a
lot of detail for something so
the Tomb Raider
I'm
remake,
almost say minuscule.
The Tomb Raider remake of Witcher 2 ruined that shit for, like, we need to have the most detailed hair possible in these games.
We talked about this before, but it's better than everybody having Killmonger hair. Anyway,
true.
To me, the holy trinity of Final Fantasy is going to be, and this is to my holy trinity: 6, 7, 8.
I feel like that's fine.
Each one of those games did something different for Final Fantasy as a series and as a whole, because 7 was technically like the first modern day style Final Fantasy. It was the first one to be in 3D, even though the graphics were a little blocky. You know what I'm saying? It was a PlayStation. 6 was where they really found their stride in storytelling and character development and making like a really good villain. 8 was the first time that they gave us a Final Fantasy game that wasn't blocky and also wasn't 2D.
And it has a really dark story when you think about it, because they're literally child soldiers.
7?
Like,
no, 8.
You play high schoolers.
Oh, yeah. Well, all of them are kind of dark.
I was gonna say almost like isn't like almost every Final Fantasy
no, 7 they're all adults.
Right, but is 8 are they children in 8?
Yes, they're in high school.
Are you thinking about Type 0?
No,
8 they're literally in high school. The Guardians are like high school.
I was gonna say Type 0 they were in high school.
17. Squall's like 17. I think Selfie, is it Selfie?
Selfie. Yeah, Selfie.
I think she's like 16 or 15. Queesis is the only one who's an adult because she's a teacher. Yeah, everybody else, they're all kids. Like, when you see that first time that you go off to war and you see a couple dead seed candidates, those are kids that died, that got shot by adult soldiers.
So, I mean, think about it.
In the first,
that's the holy trinity of Final Fantasy. Like, when you start looking at it, I mean, 8 had a little jank to it, you know what I'm saying? Just like everybody got a little jank to it, 7 had a little jank to it. in certain moments. But like none of them
That's really weird,
really
Tones.
hurt my soul like 13. But 13 I did not appreciate because of one thing: Eidolon fights.
Hey,
Yeah.
Tones.
Eidolon fights.
I think Tom's got something to say.
Fuck them things.
Hey, Tones.
What's happening?
Is the reason that you left 9 off your list because 7, 8, 9?
Bro,
Why did you bring the dad joke in?
I played 10.
Is there
I played
some-
10.
Wait, hold up. Is there? I've been doing this now. Whenever somebody I know makes a really shitty dad joke, is this your way of telling us you're expecting? And you're not. You just didn't like. It's like and you just didn't break the news to anybody yet.
I'm just getting it ready. We're hitting that age. I'm getting ready.
He's prepping the dad
Oh
joke.
man.
Oh god.
I'm
Like,
one.
you just make
I'm
like
one
the most
mistake
toxic
away.
dad joke ever. It was like, that
One
was hilarious.
mistake
Wait
away.
a fucking minute. It's like,
Oh god.
For
Oh,
For
bro,
me,
said he's one
I feel like if
beer
any
and
of us
taco
would be
night away
expecting-
from having a kid.
Token would be expecting first.
damn, that quick?
Whoa,
you're
hold
right.
on.
6 months.
Hold on.
I said
Whoa.
first out of all of us. I think
You
it would be.
said you're reckless.
But I like how he just threw me like right at the front of the line.
Absolutely,
You
absolutely.
with your girl
He
longer
said,
than
he said
anything.
you're reckless with your masculine sauce.
Oh wow, I didn't say that.
Wow, I did not. I don't.
Look,
we're gonna jump past that.
Chaotic said Final Fantasy 7 for him too. He's simple. You know.
Let me add on to that. 'cause
Loom
there's
said
mine-
I do want to ask though.
Hold
Why
on.
did you leave 9 off the list though?
I didn't play 9.
That's fair
That's it.
enough.
That's the real
Oh,
reason.
okay.
I just
That's fair. That's fair.
I
didn't play
just
9 is better than
I
8.
saw it.
That's me.
It was there.
For me,
Yep.
I'm gonna go with
Like 9 with Van with the tail.
That's no.
Yeah.
That's 12.
Zidane is
Zidane.
9.
Zidane.
Bond
Zidane.
is
Whatever.
And Vivi, my favorite
12 is my
person in
personal
that
least
game.
favorite for different reasons.
What's your
You know,
least
I actually
favorite?
want to go back and try 12 though.
I want to go back
Zodiac
and try
Age
12
makes
again.
Zodiac Age makes it playable. It's still rough.
Yeah.
No,
They
like,
do fix a lot of stuff, but it's still.
we talked about this when we worked at Game Crazy all the years ago, but it was just like 12 just annoyed the crap out of me because it was like, man, I got this hat. I'm gonna put this hat on. Falls
Nope.
off. What?
What?
It's a
Or-
hat.
so-
Why can't I wear it? You ain't got a license for that, sir.
So for the people
Yeah,
who
that's
don't
dumb.
know, for the people who don't know, TLDR, Final Fantasy 12 when it came out was very diverse because the combat system was extremely weird because it wasn't a traditional turn-based. It was.
It
It's
was
almost
that
like
free,
Oh, you mean like
camera?
13 with Paradigm Shift?
no. It was weird because visually it looked like Final Fantasy 11. It looked like an MMO. You were walking around the world, had the characters around you, monsters would just spawn in, stuff like that, and then you just go right into combat and stuff like that. But as the game went on, eventually you got certain like jobs, they're called like your job licenses, but certain gear was locked behind unlocking like a little thing on your grid to wear a certain hat or to use certain swords or daggers for thieves and stuff like that. And you had to farm up these points by either grinding, but in the original version, that shit took forever. Like not even like within reason of grinding. Like I'm gonna grind out, max out my character's RPG. Haha. No, this shit was like unfathomable the amount of time it needed to
It was MMO grind.
100% that
Oh
game.
man.
Yeah.
And it was ridiculous. Zodiac Age fixed a lot of that by number one, adding an option to speed up the game because god damn that game ran like just how they made it just runs so fucking slow. They fixed the
Yeah.
license board for the most part. They also fixed what improved on the weird auto battle system which is effective because eventually the game wanted you to like, hey, I know it's really monotonous to control the menu of this game. What if we made it so you could have your characters automate certain stuff when the enemies or your characters are at certain things? So you could set a character to automatically cast Asuna or or Antidote if someone got poisoned in the game. So eventually, like you could eventually get to a point where you could just make a scenario.
Oh, so you could
for
basically treat it like Tales of Symphonia, basically.
Yeah. You can set the auto battle, kind of do everything for you. It's like, all right, hold up. You could literally just like look away. It's like, y'all good? Do I gotta help you with this boss fight?
Yeah, he's not lying.
Like, oh man, boss fight.
And then the 12 was a dark time. That was a dark time. Like,
I kind of want to
stream it
because
you-
live streaming
movie
12
made
like
for
his
Final
son
Fantasy
watches
VII.
freaking videos.
yep.
I
Yeah,
kind of
for-
want to. I kind of want to play 12 now because
For me, though-
that sounds interesting.
Luke asked what the name of the movie was for Final Fantasy VII.
Advent Children.
Having children.
Advent Children.
Actually, they're about to be AMC's about to do
A re-release?
It'll be first time ever in American theaters because it never came out.
What? Oh shit.
Oh wow!
It only came out on physical media here when it first came out.
Yeah, this is true. And Advent Children was fire.
Yeah.
When Cloud started putting that Buster sword together and was using all of the 7
Let me tell
pieces
you.
of it.
Yeah,
That
I got my ticket because I was like, I've never seen this in movie theater. Obviously.
What day?
It's like February, like 16th, 17th, or something.
I'm gonna ask my friends if they want to go see it.
I'm
It's
asking my
only
girl if she
AMC?
wanna go see it.
We'll never talk
Like,
about
I'm a Cinemark member. And
I'm not-
so I got
Crystal.
I never
Cinemark.
got to say what my choice was.
Oh no, you did.
Your choice is
Oh.
7, we know.
But I didn't get to go into explanation of it.
All right, go ahead.
Like, okay. All right, but for me,
it sounds
for
like
me-
that neglected friend.
for me, it's 7 and Earthbound really changed my perspective on RPGs and made me like them. Because before that, it was like mostly fantasy stuff that I wasn't really into at the time as a kid. But when I saw that there was this RPG that's like in modern, like futuristic,
Kid doesn't like fantasy.
I was a sci-fi kid.
Wait,
I was into
Wait.
sci-fi. I was into sci-fi and cyberpunk stuff as a kid. I didn't like fantasy stuff was kind of cool. Like I like
you
stuff
know what?
like Willow.
You were like me. You were like me as a kid. You would have rather
Yeah.
like fucking watch Stargate and Star Trek and
and Star
like that.
Wars. Yeah,
Yeah, Star Wars,
then
yeah.
watch like Lord of the Rings or something like that, right?
Oh hell yeah!
But Final Fantasy VII
Stop making that
and
face. Earthbound.
Earthbound made me have more appreciation for RPGs. And now I can play fantasy RPGs and fantasy games. I like fantasy games now because of Final Fantasy VII and also Earthbound.
Yeah.
Like I had never played an RPG that was like Final Fantasy VII before, where it's in this I guess cyberpunk world, and you're fighting against an evil corporation, which now Final Fantasy VII seems a whole lot more relevant to our real world than ever before.
If only in 1997 we knew.
Yeah, right. And if only in
We fucked
1997
up.
we knew, unethical experiments, mining out the planet's energy for power. 'Cause that doesn't sound like oil, does it?
Enslaving entire villages just to mine out an ore so you could put it inside of a damn cell phone.
Yeah, to take all the resources.
Yeah, we're not going that far into it.
Let's not forget, playing eco-terrorists.
So, what is your
Eco-terrorists.
most memorable moment in Final Fantasy games?
Right, the most enjoyable moment.
Memorable moment.
Oh, memorable.
Memorable.
I already said it. When Vivi's village got wrecked and they found out that they didn't have souls.
Yikes.
For me, it's the end of the calm cutscene in Final Fantasy VII, where Sephiroth first meets with Genova in the Mako reactor in Nibelheim.
Yeah.
That was the moment that sealed the deal that I wanted to go to school to work in games. That was like
nice.
the moment. Like I remember explicitly, like after that scene was done, I was like, I want to do this for a living.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think anything beats when fucking Eris died. Like that was a fucking gut punch.
I was right there with you when
I
it
was like,
happened.
what the fuck?
That was a big one
Honest-
too.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I ain't gonna lie, honestly, if I had to go in depth about it, the reason why the whole Vivi thing kind of
Tone's mad.
was memorable to me is because that was the very first time in my life that I ever even conceived the idea of anything in creation wouldn't have a soul. But that was I had never had that idea before.
Tone looks like he wants to say something.
Like his whole family village got wiped out, and I was just like, I mean, I guess that sucks. And then he finds out, oh, he's a creation that doesn't even have a soul, and now he fears dying because he doesn't know what's gonna happen to him. And I'm like, oh shit.
I mean,
This hurts.
that's pretty sad as much as like Tidus finding out that he's literally just a fucking dream. That fucked me up for like a little bit. I was like, whoa, all right, this is giving me existential crisis. Like, what if I'm really just a dream? I'm just somebody else's dream. I'm not real.
Tone, would you like to say something?
Go ahead, Tone.
Fuck Aerith.
Okay.
Whoa,
that was. Want to elaborate?
Can we classify that as a hot take?
That whole ass healer died after supporting my entire party, having all of my healing gear on her, and she gonna get run through by Sephiroth. Fuck that bitch.
I mean, you got all the gear material back, but as a kid, you don't know.
I wish she would just leave.
That's why he's hesitant to play Rebirth. Because he's afraid it might happen again.
Fuck her.
Bro got abandonment issues.
At least give me a second decent healer. Like, how you just gonna kill off my healer?
You gonna be okay?
Oh my god.
He is not.
Oh my god. Do you understand my plight?
Tone, when I'm 2024, women aren't just healers anymore, right?
The one woman angel, and I'm short a healer because I didn't put enough heals into Tifa because I wanted her to be a fighter because she had them hands. Fuck her.
But what if she doesn't die?
Fuck that.
What if she doesn't die this time?
I don't use her now.
There's a chance she might not die.
There's a chance.
Hey, Eric.
And because chance, I'm not a gambling man. The only time that I like to gamble is on gotcha.
Statistically speaking, there's a 50% chance she actually lives in this.
Statistically speaking, Tone's just trying to keep the Cetra woman down in the fight on Midgar.
Who's your least favorite character in Final Fantasy?
Cancel this man.
Right? Playable character or like all characters?
Character, period.
Character, man.
Yeah,
Hojo,
you
fuck
don't
him.
understand, Goji Senpai. Sephiroth's sword is special. It makes it so that Phoenix Dance can't be used when stabbed in the right gland.
Hey,
and
you're knocked out in Final Fantasy games unless everyone gets knocked out. Then you.
My least favorite, Hojo. Fuck him.
So what you're saying is that you get knocked out?
Nah. Who's the fucking executive in Shinra? That piece of shit. What the hell?
Rufus?
Palmer.
No.
Palmer is annoying as fuck. Fuck that dude.
Wait, what did he do again? That was that bad?
You're never gonna keep me down.
Because now we're comparing Palmer to Hojo.
I mean, Hojo was just trying to advance science.
What? He's literally just Gendo. Or what's his name? Fucking Fullmetal Alchemist.
Technically, he's more like Kuratsuchi from Bleach. Technically.
No, don't disrespect him like that.
Are you serious?
Don't do that.
Are you serious right now?
Don't do that.
No.
Don't do that.
I'm just saying, what did Hojo really do wrong?
Experiment on people.
Yeah.
Kurotsuchi from Bleach.
Yeah.
But Hojo
on his own kid.
To Hojo's credit, he probably made some advancements for the benefit of humankind.
Kurotsuchi from Bleach,
like dooming the world because his kid went psychotic. Like that.
I ain't gonna stunt. I ain't gonna stunt. I was gonna bring up a road tomorrow, but,
after giving his kid godlike abilities. Thanks, Hojo. Thanks, dude. Everybody liked to live until now, I guess. Congratulations! I guess your experiment worked. Yay! The world's ending. Asshole.
I mean, there's a bunch of hateable characters.
How's Palmer worse though?
Yeah, there are a bunch of hateable characters. Like Aerith.
Palmer tried killing Sid's family or Sid's girl.
Right.
And then he also helped oversee the plate falling with the Turks. I think that was him. Well, Heidegger tasked it to him, and he made sure it got done.
I thought President Shinra
he was just doing a job that was given to him. I'm just saying.
Oh, he did, but he still was like one of the main ones to help make. Like, he still got to trickle down. Still got to get done.
Yeah, that was absolutely disgusting that they actually did that. Like, straight up, I will say this: Final Fantasy VII has the most hateable villains in a game. Like that whole corporation, it's like, all y'all are some of the worst fucking people in gaming ever.
Yeah,
There's a lot of villains.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on this because, like, at least like with like when it comes to like an evil king or queen, right? Like,
Yeah.
that at the end of the day is about like protecting an empire and power
Yeah.
consolidation. But like they can twist it to being about protecting their empire. Corporation, that's just money.
Yeah,
That's just greed.
literally.
That's
That's
Bottom
just
line.
greed.
They taught us to hate capitalism early.
Yo, deadass.
So Final Fantasy VII actually has like two of my least favorite characters in the entire
Squaresoft radicalized me.
that are not
Squaresoft radicalized.
So,
I love it. I love
Barrett
it.
and Aerith. Aerith for reasons that we've already discussed,
Oh, God.
and
Here we
Barrett
go.
because I felt like from the beginning, and this was kind of just my view when I was young.
Keep a white woman down and black on black crime. Come on.
Whoa, come on.
The reason that I hated Barrett was because they made him too stereotypically 1970s black.
I mean, he's literally Mr.
language and
T.
his actions and how he moved, and it felt like he was actually trapping us into a
A
role
black
portrayal.
stereotype.
So I really did not. Yes, like a Mr. T. Like literally, Barrett was like modeled after Mr. T, and like all he would do was just let's go get him and blah blah blah, and it was just like
I pity the children draining the live stream.
So
yeah, like he was like super
I can't pay my
Mr.
light
T
bill.
for the planet. You know what I'm saying? It didn't do it for me. So I really did not like Barrett. And fuck Aerith, but that's neither here nor there.
Mr. T for
But there's a lot of them. There's a lot of us who do like him though.
Who?
There's a lot of black people who do like Barrett. Go to a Comic-Con. I swear to God.
I'm not commenting on that.
I'm just saying.
That's fine. That's because
You can have
everybody's
his
entitled to their opinion, even when they're wrong. So absolutely.
Okay.
Hey, Tones.
bro.
Including myself.
Mr. Shit opinion about Eris. Okay.
Use a hoe. That's all I got.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
I love you.
Love you too. So anyway, let's move forward, right? Because obviously we could talk about Final Fantasy like all day, or all night, or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, I actually wanted to just address that. So Sony had a state of play today, and just because it was just like an hour or two ago, just wanted to kind of put it out there. Death Stranding 2. What were some other notable things that came up in state of play, Hustle?
A Silent Hill free-to-play game apparently launched today.
And another Silent, was it a remake of Silent Hill 2 is coming too?
That's coming.
I got
Yeah.
a little bit ago. They're still working on it.
And then there was the Sonic and Shadow.
Sonic and Shadow Generation.
Sonic Generations from 2011 being updated and they're adding Shadow.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was a new game though.
No,
That's how I thought it was.
they're porting Shadow. They're remastering Sonic Generations actually, and then also adding like Shadow content.
Oh, okay, all right.
No, that'd be cool.
Then
Yeah,
there was
that sounds
third
cool,
person
too.
action games like Helldivers 2 was also put up there. And that one game that they're the Ronin game that they're working
looks
on.
good.
The Team Ninja game.
Yeah,
That
and then there
really
was the other
don't
one
look
that
nice.
they were working on with the girl. That one looked pretty good too. So just kind of a quick mention on the state of play. Now I want to move into our big meaty topic of the night, and we'll probably cap this out. We're not going to dwell on it too long because I know this can be a little bit of a controversial issue, but especially when gamers feel strongly about things. But basically, so I came across an article this week, and it was basically talking about how Baldur's Gate 3 was probably the number one selling game last year. So we're talking about Baldur's Gate, who raked in Game of the Year and is a candidate for Game of the Decade or whatever the case may be. And it actually doubled its runner-up, which was Hogwarts Legacy, when it came to revenue and sales. Now,
Oof.
Which is
this
crazy.
basically it said it made about $650 million on Steam. All of that is irrelevant to me because what they're saying is that this game was a huge success and this game had no microtransactions. So with it being one of the best-selling games on Steam last year with no microtransactions, Hogwarts Legacy being second in second place with no microtransactions, and actually some of the biggest hits of last year, games without DLCs, without microtransactions, without any kind of add-on content. They're basically trying to put it together like the days of microtransactions are nearly over. Like they basically are saying that these are the games that saw the most success, and that there has been a fall off of the purchase of microtransactions from a good 33% to about 25% from 2022 to 2023. Now, the way I want to loop this around, as time travel and said earlier, we have experienced approximately 30,000 layoffs in the video game industry over the course of the last year. Do we think that the state of discourse with the decline of microtransactions or people demanding less or anything like that is completely relevant to how to these layoffs, to the state of the gaming industry? Do you think that this is something that the gaming industry that can support the gaming industry? I'm going to let Time cook on this one because I really feel like I want to hear what he has to say when it comes to this topic, though. So Time, you can take it away. I kind of want to hear your thoughts on this as a whole.
I have a lot of thoughts on this, so I apologize if I take a little bit here.
Take your time. We got about 15 minutes or so.
I would love to be able to say that microtransactions are going away, but that'd be a lie. I think that there are more complicated discussions to be had right now. I think that when people talk about when they say microtransactions or certain types of games are at a decline and certain games are at an incline. Okay, well, I would want to know what the quality of those games are, right? Another problem is that when COVID hit, people looked at the COVID period as this big boom because there was a lot of money coming in because people were at home all the time. It was always going to be a decline once we got back to normal. But
right.
A lot of these financial planners, it feels like they don't take that into account, or if they do, they don't go far enough. So things look a lot worse than they probably actually are. But because of the fact people were planning for it to be better than it is, it's actually pretty bad. If that makes any sense. I don't think that and I could be wrong about this. I have to go look at this. I don't think if you look at historic trends, I don't think things are much worse than they have been. I think there's a lot of compounding factors. That being said, I think it's a mistake to look at a game like Baldur's Gate and use that as the basis for the opinion of these games are selling gangbusters. And it's yeah, sure. Once in a generational games are doing phenomenal. That's great. But how many of those do you get? One or so every generation. I think more likely what's going to happen is you're just going to see live service games launch and fail for a little bit until they just start canceling them and not shipping them. And I think you're going to see less microtransactions out there. But I don't think they're going to go away. But I think the only way I'm right about that is if we start seeing teams scale their budgets down. Because it is games. I've talked about this over and over again. It costs too much to make a game right now. It costs too much to make a game and bank on it selling 4 million, 5 million, 6 million units. Because the thing you have to keep in mind, right? When you sell a game, you're depending on the way where you're getting your money from, depending on the way things are funded, you're not just paying for that game. You are trying to get enough money to pay for the development cost of the game that you just shipped and get a runway for the next game.
Baldur's Gate had to start with a Kickstarter, not a Kickstarter, but it had to start with early access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are ways to navigate around these things, but it is complicated. It's not easy. I would prefer we see less microtransactions, but from the AAA space, I don't think you're going to see it. And I don't think that you should. I don't think that we should even encourage it. I said this earlier. What we should be trying to encourage is if you're going to have microtransactions, you have it be an added value, not a replacement value.
Like New Game Plus behind the paywall?
Yeah, like that's bullshit. Usually with the New Game Plus behind the paywall is bullshit. Like that is not a microtransactionable thing. And the fact that like people even go, well, it doesn't bother me because I don't do New Game Plus. Who fucking cares? You shouldn't be like you shouldn't encourage it.
Exactly.
Like this is bullshit. Like you shouldn't be selling these kinds of things behind paywalls. Like microtransactions need to be skins. Microtransactions need to be cosmetics. Microtransactions, like if you want to get, like, you know, like you need to be selling DLC. You need to be adding value to the game, not replacing value. And unfortunately, it feels like we're getting more towards the replacing value over adding value. So, like, unfortunately, it feels like they're getting more predatory. I hope people start putting their money where their mouth is and start like not buying more microtransaction games. And I know that's getting into a different topic, but so the TLDR, the summary, I don't think they're going anywhere. I don't think Baldur's Gate is indicative of any kind of greater trends. I think that people have less money to spend right now, and I think that, and I think as a result of that, you are going to see microtransactions struggle, and you might see less games with microtransactions because of the fact more games are shuttering their doors. But like, I don't think it's going to change the design philosophy until studios start catching on to the fact that there's less there. But even then, I think it's just going to become more of a bite-sized microtransaction of like $2-3 microtransactions, $1 microtransactions, as opposed to like $20-30. I could be wrong about that.
Okay. I mean, I kind of see your point. Like, to be honest with you, like Smite and Smite 2. Smite is a game that's been around for approximately 10 years, and Smite 2 is coming along, and with people getting upset that Smite 2 isn't going to port over their skins, but Smite 2 is a completely different game. It's not going to do the same thing that Overwatch did or CSGO did. Like, it's going to be a new game on a new engine, and we discussed this a little bit and in depth. Once Smite 2 comes and you're going to have to buy those new skins, you've been using these same skins for 10 years. So honestly, right. I don't even think it's that bad. That I don't think it's a bad thing at all that they're encouraging you to buy new skins on a new game and a new engine. Like, you enjoy playing the game. If you play this game all the time, you can pony up a little bit of money. They gave you the game for free.
Okay, I do have a question about that.
I didn't get it.
I have a question about that.
I bought the Ultimate God Pack for $40.
When Smite 2 comes out, is Smite 1 going to discontinue?
No.
Oh, then everybody should be fine then. Fuck it. You're not losing.
As long as they don't do that.
But they are complaining. And they're also giving you legacy coins where you'll get 50% off the new skins. Just for every skin you have, you're going to get a certain amount of legacy coins that equivalent to essentially half of the value of all of the old skins you own. Or something like that. So like every dollar you spend is going to turn into like a legacy coin.
Yeah. So, I think this particular issue got super blown out of proportion because, like, yeah, would it be great if, like, I haven't put that much money, but I think I bought the Ultimate God Pack for $30. I think I put maybe $15 in the game because it's like there was no need to buy. I got the God Pack.
I'm probably about the same.
But it's like a weird entitlement. Like, yeah, would it be dope if everything ported over? Yeah, it would be nice. However,
it'd be cool.
It would be cool, but they don't technically have to do anything because they're not shutting down the game. Now, however,
right. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, like, however, if Smite 1 was being shut down, you better be giving me something back for all this.
Yeah, exactly.
That. But like, since you're not losing anything and you're still getting this massive benefit on the new game, which they didn't have to give at all, or be this generous, 50% of effectively 50% of the value of everything you paid for in Smite. That's a lot for some people. That's a lot. So they're going to be good for a bit. Yeah, this particular, to go with what Tom was saying, like microtransactions and stuff like that, they're not going anywhere. I feel like more companies are going to start being more strategic about it with how much bad flack. Like, look at how people play Mortal Kombat 1 recently. Fatalities you got to pay for.
Ugh.
How they have DLC planned, like, what? Effectively, like, a third in the game. It's like, all right, we're going to stop this many characters, and we're going to, like, plan this many DLC. So they're planning the future revenue stream and everything like that. But, but microtransactions aren't going anywhere. Like,
No,
they're not. And I don't mind when games do it well, but let's be honest, it's really hard past couple of years to find good examples of DLC. Like really solid, damn, this is some good DLC. Recently, got Santa Monica, gave us Valhalla, God of War. Just like, here you go.
For free.
Free roguelike mode that you had no idea we were fucking working on. It's like,
we said MK1 microtransactions were gross.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 1 is egregious. Injustice 2 was egregious too with microtransactions.
Yeah. But he also said the Destiny content vault is also out there, so you know.
And here's the thing: you can't compare Baldur's Gate 3 and its success, as well as Hogwarts Legacy. One is just a solid ass, like it's. Everyone has basically agreed that Baldur's Gate 3 is like pretty much damn near flawless across the board, right?
Right.
And infinite possibilities, there's multiplayer, and there's all this crazy stuff within Baldur's Gate 3. That is a flash in the pan, lightning in a bottle situation. It just happened to be a great, fantastic game, and that's why people bought it, right? Hogwarts Legacy is a different story too because it has a big fan base. If someone were to make like a Star Wars Legacy game, then you can make your own Star Wars character and you could choose to be a Jedi or a Sith or like a gunslinger type of character or whatever that, and it's like open world or whatever, that would sell probably even more.
KOTOR?
No, KOTOR is kinda, but KOTOR is I'm talking like somewhere in the same vein as that. Like action RPG, open world, you make your own character. You can go through like a Jedi Academy, or you choose Sith, you go through a Sith Academy, or you just want to be like a gunslinger, you go through the Republic or whatever, or Rebellion, or whatever it would be in that timeline. That would sell millions and millions and millions of copies because it allows people to play their power fantasy of being a Star Wars character. Hogwarts Legacy was people's power fantasy of being their own Harry Potter character. That is, again, almost a lightning in a bottle type of situation with a very big fan base. You cannot sit here and say that, oh, that's it for microtransactions, because of these two games that are very specific in their own success that can't be mimicked. Only by like maybe Star Wars and another really great game that somehow manages to get the amount of support that Baldur's Gate 3 got. Because look at 2K games, they're still having microtransactions, still making millions, if not billions off that, I believe. GTA Online, microtransactions, still making billions.
And
if it was over for microtransactions, we would not get a yearly report from Rockstar about how much they've made off of GTA Online alone. What are we talking about here? Where's this proof coming from that microtransactions are over? Because I can bring up proof that they're not over.
I honestly think that it's just people who are looking at the success of a game. So really what that article was saying was Baldur's Gate 3 proves that you don't need microtransactions, is what I believe that article was really saying. Yeah. And because of the fact Baldur's Gate sold so many units. And that's kind of why I don't believe that it's fair to say that for the games industry as a whole.
Yeah, no, I agree.
There are so many different kinds of experiences out there that are going to require long-term support. Like, I've been trying to find a roadmap for what Larian's long-term plans are for Baldur's Gate, because I don't think they're going to work on that forever. Like, I'm pretty sure they're already working on their next
They're already working on their next game.
Yeah, so like they made a crap ton of money, and now they're going to be able to move on to their next thing, and they're going to have probably less funding from their parent organization, and they're going to have more freedom. They're going to have more room to push. They're going to have more room to develop their stuff, and they're going to be good. They're going to be able to afford better assets, and this is going to be a good thing for them.
have they even mentioned anything about like an expansion or anything like that for Baldur's Gate? No, right? Like we don't know what the future
They've
is.
still been patching it, but
Yeah, we don't know what future support is like for that game.
I'm sure there's probably going to be a DLC or two.
Yeah,
Not gonna be- there'll probably be an expansion pack because a lot of those old school RPGs would at least have like 1 or 2 expansion packs.
yeah,
but
one or two.
I mean, I think
it's probably not a priority for them to work on.
Yeah, no.
What was that? Baldur's Gate 2 Dark Alliance or something like that was an expansion. Yeah. So, similar to the Monster Hunter style type of expansion, I'm guessing, if they do one.
Yeah. But to say that it's microtransactions is a very misleading thing to say, I think.
True, but does gaming need microtransactions?
I say no.
Question.
Do we need microtransactions for the gaming,
Yes.
to sustain itself?
Yes, we do, unless you want $120 games. $200 games. Absolutely. Not every game needs microtransactions, but the industry needs them. Like, so for example, right?
That's a good way to put it.
I get what he's saying. Yeah.
That's the perfect way to put it.
Not every game needs
they're a necessary evil at this point.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I will agree with that.
So one of the things that like gosh, and you know what though, like I would prefer subscription models if I'm being honest with you. But one of the so here's the deal, right? So subscription models give developers a predictable income. Like they're able to do much better planning when they have like a stable amount of income coming in. But like, because like by example, like look at now this would still potentially happen with like Destiny 2, but like Destiny 2 is an example. Let's say hypothetically there was a world where like they charge like a $20 a month fee or something to get access to all the perks, or like a $10 or $5 a month fee, $10 a month fee for all the access to everything in Eververse, right? And like suddenly that was doing gangbusters for them. They would be able to more intelligently predict their goals and their targets, as opposed to this like, we think we're going to sell about this, we think we're going to do about this, and then like the MTX store not perform anywhere near that, and they're having to do all these like cuts. It just gives you more predictable income.
GTA has it now. GTA Online has a subscription model now.
Does it?
Yeah, it's like GTA Online Plus or something like that.
Yeah, so like when you have these when you have these subscription models, right? Like, it's pretty crazy what you can do with analytics, but like the bottom line is like you can kind of have pretty good guesstimates on like, all right, well, we on average lose this many users and gain this many users in a month. We can say that our curve looks kind of like this. And so long as we stay roughly in this curve within a margin of error, we can hire this many people and have this many people work on this thing. And like we know that we can have our head count for this, and we should be good for the year for this. Like it just gives like more stable planning. Whereas like the MTX store, like you can potentially make a crap ton of money. It's like feast or famine sometimes, probably. Is my guess. If I had to look at the if I had to guess with like numbers, like there's probably like times of the season where like they're making less money than they are other times of the year. That's neither here nor there. The moral of the story really is like, I think some games need them, some games don't. It's really that simple. Like we need more Baldur's Gates, but not only Baldur's Gates.
Yeah. Imagine what you would do if you knew that there were 40 different skins for every character, or you could buy outfits for different characters and they weren't like a crazy price. Like you buy an outfit and it was like 50 cents. You know how many people would buy outfits for the different characters, especially for your favorite characters?
Now, real quick, little inside baseball. But like, I just wanted to finish off my end of this with, the reason you can see things like new game modes inside of a game like Ghost of Tsushima or like God of War. The reason you can see these new game modes is like you have to look at it like a video game. Like the engine of it at the end of the day is kind of like a big sandbox. Once all the pieces are built, once all the sets are there, the art's already there, all the assets are there, it's kind of like a big playground for people who know what they're doing with it. So like you, instead of needing 200-300 people to build this thing, you can have like a small group of like 10 people
just
playing
playing
the sandbox, just like trying to figure out how to make cool shit.
Right.
And like that's why like these really impressive things come out, and like don't get me wrong, they're impressive, but they don't cost a ton of money for them to build because it's just like a small little strike team just messing with the tools to try and bring new value to people and like create cool things for people.
Right.
So
I mean, I greatly appreciate that, and I think that our audience and anyone watching would definitely appreciate that as well. I know here we are, we kind of ran over on time a little bit.
But it's fine. It was great content. And
yeah, I mean, by all means, our conversation is
like
I think we
hearing
technically started a
from
little
time
late. I think we
always,
technically started a little late, so it bounces.
Yeah, it matches up.
balances
hearing
out.
from time always puts a lot of things in perspective because he has a great insight.
Well, we know Tom is our resident superstar. He doesn't know it yet, but he's gonna know it.
I am far from a superstar, I assure you.
You're a
And,
star in
this
our
week-
eyes, time.
I tell you. And this week, we got some of the attention off of Hustle and on the token. So welcome back. Welcome back. Even
missing 2
Chaotic said he
weeks.
really enjoyed this show. Again, friend of the show, Chaotic.
We enjoy you watching.
I'm just happy to be here.
We are happy that you enjoyed you coming along, and like this is usually the time where I want to say that I really appreciate you as an audience. I really appreciate all of you who come through, and we as a family hope that you do continue to come through, whether you're just finding us, whether whether you've been a long time listener or a long time viewer. Again, like, comment, subscribe, interact. We'll definitely make sure that we shout you out. Ande, thoughts on the state of play? We actually talked about the state of play a little earlier.
I gotta watch it still. I was at work.
Yeah, we talked about the state of play a little earlier. We actually discussed a couple of the games that are coming out, and pretty much a lot of it looks really good. I mean, as far as like what the state of play is, I don't really like saying, "Oh, this was whack, this was good." It's going to be back in February.
Metro VR, baby.
So,
If
but
anything,
again,
watch it for Death Stranding too.
right? That's like a new trailer. But we want to just thank you all. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon. Be notified. Share the stream. Share the playback. Make sure that you let all your friends know that we're talking. We trying to make it vast enough where even if you don't play games, you still enjoy us. Like, we're cool people. We love you guys, and so this is the time where I'm just going to say that I want to thank you all for being here. I get sentimental like this every week. That's because I love our audience. But anyway, I'm going to close out and I'm going to say, remember that to achieve all your goals, all you got to do is press start. We love you. Peace.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hit that bell icon.
Well, icon, you know what I mean? Share with friends.
Live, bro. Do they? They want to
You
know.
out there. You hit that button right over there. You subscribe.
Yeah, it's right over there on the
You
side.
hit the notification. You got this. We want to bring you amazing tunes in the ears every Wednesday.